everybody, good afternoon. Welcome to the Martini Glass Girls Guide to Becoming a Performer again. My name's Kitty. This is our live today on money mindset. So if you're watching live, please drop any comments down below. If you're watching afterwards, then please hashtag replay so I know who is seeing the videos and who isn't. And if you're watching on YouTube, then please click subscribe because that helps me to make more videos. Hi Busty. So today is money mindset, and money is something that pretty much everybody wants, but nobody is ever willing to say it out loud, because it's a topic that we're pretty much always told not to talk about or not to discuss, or that it's rude to talk about money. So today we're going to talk about your mindset surrounding money, how you feel about making money and the beliefs that you hold surrounding money. So for me, for many years, I've always believed that you can't make any money as a performer. You're never going to be rich as a performer, but that's something that you need to trade because you get to do what you love. And in fact, that isn't really the case. There's plenty of performers that make loads of money. It's just your mindset around it. So today we're going to identify things that we believe about money that might really be getting in our way of earning money and making more money and charging more for our services and knowing our worth when we're pricing our fees and we're speaking to clients and we're trying to explain to them why we cost what we cost. So firstly, I want us to talk a little bit about your beliefs around money, childhood beliefs around money. Like, what did you used to get told about money when you were younger? So for me personally, I feel guilt around money so bad. Yeah, you do, Claire. Like, I actually know you and you are like that. You feel guilty about charging people what you're worth. And that is so true. And I think loads of people, particularly, it is as a fact a female issue, people feeling guilty about charging what they're worth. There's been loads of studies done on it in business and things, that women tend to not, they tend to have to justify why they are worth whatever they're worth, whereas men tend to just charge what they charge and people just accept it. So that is like a dead common thing, people feeling guilty about charging people for a service. One of mine is that only greedy people have money or not very nice people have money. So I always used to think that, and to an extent till not very long ago, that if you had money you must be a bit of an arsehole, or otherwise how would you get it? And I feel like that's backed up by when you watch films and stuff, the bad person's always rich, aren't they? And they always make out that they're not a nice character or whatever. So that is something that was always ingrained in me from being a kid, that I thought if you had loads of money you must be a bad person. And I'm sure if you have got loads of money and you're a bad person anyway, it makes you a worse person. But I'm sure if you're a good person and you've got loads of money, you can do more good things with that money, can't you? Emily, I was never taught that owning a business or being self-employed was an option. I thought the only way you could make money was working for someone else. Yeah, for me, I've told you this story before, but I'm going to tell it again. So when I was at school, I was actually really academic. I had really good grades. I was top of the year and everything. I was a pure geek. But I wanted to be a dance teacher. That is what I wanted to do. And then obviously when you're 14, 15, you have careers advisors, don't you, and stuff. And then when you get to sixth form, you do it all over again, careers advisor. So when I was about 14, I'd already started teaching, and by 17 I was a qualified dance teacher. However, when I went into my careers interview in sixth form and I was asked what did I want to do, I said I want to be a dance teacher, bearing in mind that at this point I'm already working as a dance teacher, I'm already a qualified dance teacher, I'm already probably earning more money per hour than the career advisor. They told me it wasn't a viable option and that I would be stupid to be a dance teacher and that I needed to go to university. And for anyone that knows my story, I went to medical school, I trained to be a doctor, and while it was like so educational and a great 5 years of me drinking and making friends, I've actually never used it in my life ever, apart from when my mum or my brother rings me about a cold asking me are they dying. That is literally the only time I've ever used it. So it's a complete waste of 5 years of my life when I knew what I actually wanted to do, but I was told that it wasn't a viable option, despite the fact that I was already doing it. And I listened for some reason. Like now, obviously, it just seems so ridiculous. But at the time, I just was like, oh yeah, it's not, even though I was doing it, it's stupid. Anyway, so my point is that people have this like idea around performers and arts and things like that not being a viable career option and you not being able to make money out of it, which is completely ridiculous. Josephine, wow, you train as a doctor, that's amazing. I've literally never used it, Josephine, so it sounds amazing, but I just spent 5 years at uni getting pissed and then I had a qualification at the end of it and never used it, so it's not as good as it sounds. Claire, careers advice was god awful. Yeah, I know. Right, so I'm gonna say we can make money as performers. I've become a performer. I never went to any performing like dance schools or anything, like only my kids' dance school as a kid that I trained at, but no like dance colleges or anything like that. So I don't really believe that you can't do it if you really, really want to, but it is, as I keep saying, I'm banging on about a business and you've got to approach it from a business person's point of view. For me, I think because I'd ran a business for many years and I am quite business minded, even though when I'd come out of uni, I hadn't been teaching full time. I had still been teaching, so I had been running a business on the side. So I had like loads of business knowledge, and then over the years, I just transferred that over to performing and used it in the exact same way. So I think we need to remove that idea that you can't make any money from performing, because if you look around, there's plenty of performers that do it full time, so they're obviously making enough money to live. Then there's performers like, famous performers like, that are millionaires, so it obviously you can make money out of it. It's just whether you're allowing yourself to or not. Rachel, I told my careers advisor I wanted to work in art and they were like, no, that probably wouldn't work out. Have you, oh, it won't let me see anymore. I think I'll have to wait till it scrolls down a bit and then I'll have a look. But yeah, you're right, like careers advisors are rubbish, aren't they? Like, why would you become a careers advisor? Because you've got nothing else to do. So let's forget like what people have told us in the past. We all know it's rubbish. We can do whatever we want to do. So what I'm saying is we need to look back at things that we've been told and childhood beliefs. Things like, as well, people say money doesn't grow on trees, or I don't know, like you've got to work really hard to make money. Like I always used to think I'll read that out in a second. I always used to think that that you had to be working like constantly non-stop to be considered as successful. So when I was younger, my dad had a really good job. Like we had money, like we weren't poor or anything like that. But it always came at the cost of my dad was never there. Like we never saw him. He was always working, and that's like another reason why, as I got older, I actively didn't want to pursue having money, because it made me feel like it makes you into a person that doesn't want to spend time with your family, or that money's becomes more important the more you have and stuff like that. So I never really wanted to make any money because that's what I truly believed. When obviously that isn't the case, is it? Like you don't have to be working all day, every day, killing yourself, but you do have to know your worth. So if you're charging like next to nothing for a gig, then yeah, you're going to end up like killing yourself, aren't you? Because you've got to do like 10 gigs just to cover your costs, or 10 gigs just to cover your bare minimum things, expenses for that month. Whereas if you're charging a lot of money and you think you're worth that money, then you might only have to do 2 gigs a month and then everything's covered. So it's really important that you address your thoughts on money, because if you don't, you start to get caught up in not charging what you're worth because you don't think that that's okay. That these ideas start creeping in from your childhood, and all the times that people have like basically, I don't know, when people say things like, when teachers say, oh, that's not a viable job opportunity, or when like parents tell you that you can't do that, or just all these things that like they solidify those ideas of that you can't do something, and that's what we want to try and get rid of. So today's task really in the group is just to identify your beliefs around money, to look back and think, what did you used to think about money? Like, what were the things that people used to say to you when you were younger? And do you still think that? Like, deep down, do you still have those ideas, or have they changed? Because for me, deep down, I did still have those ideas until not very long ago at all. I still believed that if I made any money, I was poor, I was not a nice person, I would be greedy, or I don't know, like, or that I didn't deserve to have money because I was a performer and I get to do what I love, that you can't have both, which isn't true either. Carmen, someone told me that every performer needs their own side hustle because making a living just out of performing is really difficult. Yeah. I mean, I have got a side hustle, so for me, it's hard to say that. I think if I really, really, really wanted to, then I could perform full time, and I did do it for like a little bit while I was in the circus. So yeah, but I love running a business. I absolutely love it. So I do always have a side hustle, even when I didn't need one. Even when I was in the circus, I didn't even need one, but I still like to run a business. I like the excitement of like making sales and stuff. I know that sounds really sad, but I do. But yeah, you can do anything if you really put your mind to it. But if you're going to do it half-assed, then you're not going to get the results, are you, that you might expect. But I mean, if you're throwing everything into it and you're really trying, and you're running it as a business, and you're really thinking about how to make it work business-wise, then yeah, of course you can do it. So I want you to think about those things, like all the things that people have said to you in the past as well, that have affected your ideas about things now. And then I want you to start thinking about how we can change that, how you can not feel that way anymore. Could you surround yourself with people who aren't performers that are making no money? Can you surround yourself with people who are actually doing really well in their career? So that's going to rub off on you, isn't it? If you surround yourself around positive people, or people who've got a positive money mindset, who don't mind saying, oh yeah, I earn like loads of money this month, rather than, oh God, I'm so poor. Like, if you surround yourself, like Faye's just posted in the group a really great little meme, so go and have a little look at it. But basically, it's saying you are the sum of the people that you surround yourself with. So if you surround yourself with negative people, you're going to become negative. If you surround yourself with people who are affluent, you're going to become more affluent. If you surround yourself with performers, you're going to become a performer, because you're going to pick up people's traits, you're going to learn from them. Claire, my biggest fear is that people will think I'm a bad person for wanting to make a proper living wage for my passion. Yeah, I used to feel like that as well. I used to think people will think I'm greedy. But I mean, who cares what other people think? Like, I'm not telling them how to make their living, or where to buy their house, or what car they should have. So why should they be telling me? Like, what gives anybody the right to do that just because you're a performer? I wouldn't go up to one of my friends that's a doctor and say, like, how much money are you earning? You shouldn't be earning that. You're a bad person. I just think that's ridiculous. So that's definitely an idea that you've got to try and shift. So ways that we can do that: surrounding ourselves with people that have these positive ideas about money and not around people who've got these negative ideas around money. Also, writing down affirmations. Like, not everyone thinks affirmations work, and they might not for you, but you can give it a go. It's not going to do you any harm. It's free. So if in my head, anything, if it's free to do, you may as well do it and see if it works. So for me, writing down things like, I have got all the money that I need, or I can afford, or I can make as much money as I want to make. So for me, I've got now a big belief that if I want something, I can make it happen. So if I want to buy a house, I'll do it. If I want to buy a car, I'll do it. If I want to, currently I want to go on a business course, it's like $3,000, and I need to make that money in like 2 weeks. And in my head, I'm like, yeah, I'm going to do that. Like, I don't know how, but I am. Like, you have to like be confident that you can do it, and then it'll come. But if you're not confident and you don't think you're gonna be able to manage it, then you're probably just gonna give up, and then you're not gonna try, and you're not gonna get anywhere. So yeah, today's task is thinking about your limiting beliefs. Basically, what have you been told as a kid that's affecting how you look at money, how you price yourself? And then try and start thinking about how you can change that. Can you surround yourself with different people? Like, some of you are listening to this talk now, so that's already a start, isn't it? Can you watch more stuff like that? Like on YouTube, there's so many different like motivational talks about making money, about business, about manifesting, all like things that you might not have even looked at before. Once you start looking more into things, it becomes a lot easier to be clear about what you want. Now, the last thing is knowing how much money you want to make. There's no point just saying, I want to make a living, because what is a living? Is a living like where you're living now? Maybe you live in a small flat, maybe you've got no car, maybe you only just scrape by every month. You're still making a living. Or does your living look different than that? Does the way you really want to live be, I want to have like a really nice house that's got so many bedrooms so that my kids can all have their own room? Or is it that you want a car, or you want to open another business and you need the money for that? Like, how much do you need to do the things that you want to do? So rather than just thinking about surviving, start thinking about what you actually want in life. What do you want to achieve? And how much is that going to cost? How are you going to do that? Best books ever are You're a Badass, and more specifically, You're a Badass at Making Money. Oh, I might get them. Yeah, another one, a really good book, is Think and Grow Rich, which is like a really old book. It was written in like the 1900s or something, but it's like genius. Any like motivational stuff or mindset stuff these days surrounding money literally has come from that book. It's amazing. But yeah, like today, take like 10 minutes or something to sit down and really think about, in like a year or 5 years, where do you want to be? Like, what do you want to have? Do you want to be, are you happy with what you've got, or do you want more? And if you want more, how much is it going to cost for you to have that? So for me, in my head, I've got like a really specific idea of like the house that I want, like exactly what it looks like in my mind, like everything about it. And then I've thought of an exact amount of money that I need to buy that house. Yeah. So, and the same for anything really in life. Like I said, I want to go on a course in a couple of weeks, and it's $3,000. So I need to know that in my head to know how much work I've got to do to get that. If I'm just like swimming along, I'm not going to be able to achieve that because I've got no actual monetary goal in my head. So you don't have to share this, because I know people are funny and weird about sharing things about money, because that, again, that's a belief that's been drummed into us since we were kids. But today, try and sit down and think about, in a year's time or in 5 years' time, where you want to be and what you want to have. Like, what do you want to have that you need money for, and how much money do you need to get there, and then break that down into, well, how much money a month would that be? Yeah, work out all your outgoings, like what does everything cost you now, and how could you push that to achieving a little bit more? Because that, next week when we start doing pricing of fees and things like that, that's definitely a really big part of your pricing, your fee setting. Because for me, like, I could work every weekend doing an £80 job, but is that going to buy me a 300 grand house outright? Of course it's not. So in my head, I'm not going to be doing those jobs. I'm going to be focusing on getting the bigger jobs, not because I'm greedy, but because I've got something in my mind that I want, and I need to do those things to get it. And if I don't, I'm not going to get there. I'll be like 80 in a care home before I've ever got that kind of money. Like, so you've really, really got to set clear goals. I know Claire does this as well, because she's like me, a bit mad. But you can get like fake checks where you can write out your name and like write out the amount of money that you want on it, put it on your wall and look at it, stare at it. Like, I've done that loads of times where I've wanted something and then I think, how much am I going to need for that? And then I throw it out in this little check, put it on the wall, look at it every day, because it's just a reminder. It's a reminder. I might look at it and then I might think, oh, I might put an advert out now on Facebook to get some more clients. Whereas if I hadn't looked at it, I wouldn't have thought of it, and then I'm not like boosting my money. Claire, all the best people are mad, she means. You're right. So they're my little tips. I'm not saying you're gonna win the lottery overnight and be rich. Oh, Busty's got her in her purse. Do you know what? I'm gonna show you this as well. So I am a bit mad about all this weird stuff, so don't judge me. But I'm reading The Magic at the minute. I don't know if anyone's ever read it. It's by Rhonda Burton, and it's all about gratitude and all stuff like that. And when it was the money gratitude one, so each day it gives you a task of things to be grateful for to attract things into your life. That's basically the gist of it. It's about the law of attraction, stuff like that. So when I got to the one about money, that day my car was going in for MOT, and my car's like shit. And I was sure it was going to fail. Anyway, it didn't. So I was already like praising this book. I was like, Rhonda Byrne's book has like passed my car's MOT. And then on the way, so the task for that day was that I had to write on the back of like a £5 or a £10 or something, like a note. You had to write, thank you for all the money that I've received in my lifetime, and thanks. And then you had to look at it so many times a day. But I was like, oh, well, I'm not going to be able to do that because I never have any notes. But I'll go and draw like some money out when I go and get my MOT. And then I'll write it on the back. I'll put it in the back of my phone, so I've always got it. Anyway, on the way to my MOT, I looked on the floor and I found this £5. So this is now my £5 that I have it written on. Can you see? It says, thank you for all the money that I've ever received in my life, thanks. And it just lives in the back of my phone because I thought that's like a sign. So anyway, if you didn't think I was nuts before, now you definitely do. But all those other things are quite sensible things to do. Work out what is making you not have a positive relationship with money and then change it. Surround yourself with people, read about it, watch motivational things about it, and think positive thoughts about money. Set yourself a real life goal, an actual amount of money that you want to achieve. That could be like, I want to make like 50 quid this week. It doesn't have to be something ridiculous. It can be anything. But if you don't set it, you're never going to do it. Busty Blue, you're the second person that said that about that book. Definitely a sign. Honestly, read it. It's brilliant. It's literally changed my life. The Magic by Rhonda Byrne. It's literally one of the sequels to The Secret, if anybody's watched the film The Secret. So there's loads of books in like a series, but it's so good. It's changed my like outlook on relationships and everything, how like I see things, rather than whinging about what I haven't got, being more grateful for what I have got. And it's changed my life completely. So I would definitely say it's a brilliant book to read not just for money, but for everything. It's a gratitude book. So anyway, I've gone on for ages there. So thanks so much for watching for such a long time. Jasmine, I agree, The Secret and the Magic are amazing. Yeah, they are such good books. Definitely read them. So thanks for joining me today. And if you're just joining now or you're watching it on replay, please hashtag replay. If you're watching it on YouTube, please subscribe. Because once I get so many followers, you can start monetizing it. So again, the whole money mindset thing going on. All right then, thanks everybody, and I will see you all tomorrow for my favourite topic, which is goal setting. Bye bye.